Cool Cucumber.
Cool Cucumber.
Once more, Cool Cucumber.
Welcome to Coolcucumbertv.
Hello and welcome to the latest packed edition of Coolcucumbertv. We start with a place that truly deserves to be called a classic, the Rib Room at the Jumeirah Carlton Tower in Knighstbridge. And then on to another classic, Alyn Williams at his own restaurant in the Westbury Hotel, who talks about his life, his influences and improving with age. Not a jeweller's shop, but the magical world of William Curley, pâtissier and chocolatier. Back down to earth, as Rupert Ponsonby explains how hops make the taste of the beer you drink, before leaping off to Wales and Stephen Terry's wonderful Hardwick at Abergavenny. And finally, in the next of our series of desert island dishes with Maldon salt, the great Brian Turner roasts a chicken.
Michele Cagliese. The Rib Room, refurbished how long ago?
1 year ago now. We opened on the 6th of October last year.
Well, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because this place has been here for over 50 years, and it's very much a clubby atmosphere. And so when you're changing something like that, it's quite difficult to get it right.
Yeah, I think what you say, the clubby atmosphere is something that our guests tell us all the time. It feels like a private member club without joining fee, actually, the Rib Room. So where everybody meets and, well, on the night when we are full, we do 90 covers, 60% of the customers that we have here, they would know each other.
Excellent.
So hence why we have got table very far away from each other, big table and where people that can talk business and not be heard by the table next door. So yeah, it's a very, very club in this respect. Yeah, I think it's important that you do a restaurant and you do it for the people that you're gonna cater for. If I would do under 50 covers, I probably would do only 10 covers because nobody would come. Sure. The people, they are actually coming to the Rib Room, they come because of they know what they get, because the food is very consistent in quality. They know the space that they get between tables, they know they can do business, and they are recognized, which is very, very important for them when they come in. So,
so you have that relationship with the client. Yeah.
Is I would say not where I've been working before. I receive as many text messages on Christmas Day and New Year's Eve as many as I received this year from the customers here at the Rib Room. It's really a family type of atmosphere. They call you at home, and then it's just a very, very close relationship with the customers in here, which is great, because it's important for our customer to be recognized when they come at the door, knowing exactly the way that they want things, the table that they want, moreover the chair where they like to sit, and all these sort of things. So it's not a restaurant that would turn 200 cover a day. It's a restaurant where you do 70, 80, you do them properly and give the time. We don't have 2 hours turn around and all this sort of business. We have people coming for lunch, and sometimes we still find them in the bar at 10 o'clock in the evening. So it's very much like this. And hotel guests actually going to the Jumeirah Carlton Tower, they know that there is a good restaurant in there. So we do have a lot of guests from the hotel, and maybe some of them they do choose the Carlton Tower as well because there is the Rib Room as a restaurant in here. So
sure. Well, it is a classic restaurant, isn't it?
I guess as classic as it gets. As we could see from the menu, we do have a menu called Classic, where people, they've been coming here for the last 50 years, they can come and still find the smoked salmon, prawn cocktail, roast beef, Dover sole, oysters, just like he was in the 60s and the 70s. But we have another menu which is called the seasonal menu, where the chef get his creation going there, where we still offer very, very good choice of product, because we do offer on the seasonal menu products like foie gras, scallops, halibut, so all top product. And again, we do have attracted a few new customer with this new menu.
We might change 2 dishes every month or a dish every month, depending on how the seasons work with the seasonal menu. We try to change it as regularly as possible, the seasonal menu.
Well, of course, I suppose for regular customers, you need to have that run through.
Oh, I think ever so. I think, you know, when you're an institution like this, you know, we certainly have our people that come for special occasions, but we also have the people that maybe dine with us once a week.
Sure.
So to keep the menu always evolving and always moving, obviously encourage them to keep coming back, and obviously that's really, really important for any business.
But I need to say, the old classic are still what goes the most.
I mean, the beef presumably is one of the biggest sellers.
It is, and I think when we opened, because we introduced this new menu format, I think maybe we don't sell as much as we used to, but it's still a real crowd pleaser, and we still get, you know, a lot of the regulars come back and have it, and we see lots of new faces that come, and obviously, you know, they've heard the stories about it, and it's almost a bit legendary, so obviously they all want to try it.
I've heard good stories about your Dover sole as well.
Oh yeah.
It's a big one.
They are big here, and once again, you know, it's where, you know, you work for a company like this, you know, the produce we buy is top grade, you know, and you know, the Dover soles we buy are large. And the good thing about Dover sole is, as long as they're big, as long as the quality is good, you don't have to do anything with it, which we don't.
Well, the wine list is very extensive, and you have some very expensive wines there, but you also have some very reasonably priced wines there.
Yeah, we do have about 20 wines below £25 on the wine list. We do have wine by the glass starting from £7 per glass, so there is really something for everybody in there. And yes, we do have wine for £7,000 a bottle. We have the Petrus and Le Pen for £7,000 a bottle. But then again, there is a choice from every pocket at the Rib Room.
Tell me about this rather novel approach you have to
yeah, this
wine.
was something that was when we first opened the Rib Room, again, because of our customer base and the type of customer that come here, we were thinking, can we do something different with the wine list? The great thing about the iPad is that you can have a wine list written as the guests like to read it. So you can just click through, and then you can, you know, you have got the selection of wine, bar, cigars, you have got all the drinks in there, you go on the wine, and you can choose the wine, sparkling white, red, rosé, all the type of wine that you have, going on the white wine, and then the choice again is there, is all white, which is going to come in alphabetical order, by the country, alphabetical order, by varietal, and by price as well. So if you are looking for something that it would be less than £50, you just go to by price, and there's less than £50, and it's going to give you all the list there. Or if you're looking for a Chardonnay, then you just go by varietal, and alphabetical order, you see, gives you again Chardonnay. Now, if you want to compare with similar wine or different grapes or different region, you have got the list on the side here, which you can just choose that you go by region, and it gives you an alphabetical order of the region. When we run out of wine on the list, we can just bring it off on one of the iPads, and all the iPads are going to be updated live. So sure. Very, very rarely it does happen, and the guests would ask you for a wine that you have run out, because then it can be updated live on the list. So for the service point of view, it's much more convenient. As I said, you know, people they just love it.
You've got some very clubby paintings and drawings here by Felix Topolsky.
Yes, we have a painting then which is the Queen Coronation, where Felix Topolsky did the original, which is kept in Buckingham Palace. And when the hotel opened in '61, he thought of giving as present to the hotel the same painting or similar painting of the coronation of the Queen, which is on the mural.
Kelly, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Roy.
Alyn, you've had an interesting career. Just talk us through your history.
I have quite a long and varied history. I'm from London, born and raised in London. I started off working in London as a chef at the age of 17. Then I moved out and I worked in Cheltenham. I've worked also in London, but I've travelled quite a lot with my career through France and the USA. Then I came back and settled back down in London when I was 29, and started working for Gordon Ramsay around that time. And I worked for him and Marcus Waring up until about a year and a half ago. So I was with them for quite a few years. Worked through the ranks, saw the progression of the Gordon Ramsay group and the company. Then when he and Marcus went their separate ways, I stayed working as head chef for Marcus at the Berkeley, and I was there for 5 years. And then the opportunity to open my own restaurant in the Westbury arose, and I took that opportunity.
Rather special, isn't it?
Very much, yeah. And it was a good time for me. It was the right time for me, and I'm very pleased and very happy that I did that.
Any particular culinary heroes?
Well, I was given a book early in my career. When I was a teenager, I left a restaurant and I was given a book as a leaving present. It was Alan Senderon's book, and I've followed Alan through my career and taken a lot of inspiration about his philosophy and the way that he cooks and his approach to food, but his approach to food and wine as well as a combination. So that him amongst many others. And I think from here, over the years, I think probably Raymond Blanc would be, Marcus himself, of course. But I've always cooked on the French side of things, and it's that side of food that I really enjoy most.
What do you get the most kick from? The actual end of service when you sent 80 people away very happy, or is it the creating of the dishes that you're going to serve?
It's everything. I think all the elements go through. I mean, coming up and creating dishes is one of the best things about becoming a head chef, and working your way through the ranks and actually getting that final stage of your career is a bit more productive in the fact that you're designing dishes and you're coming up with your own style and your own presentation. It's managing the kitchen. I enjoy doing that. I enjoy teaching and inspiring the other chefs around me. I love going out and talking to the customers to get some feedback and hopefully get good feedback from as you know, once they've enjoyed their evening, and it's an experience for us. But I just enjoy everything about the job. There's nothing that I don't like about being a chef. Even from the bookwork, from the paperwork and the figures, I enjoy that too.
Would you say your style is constantly evolving?
Absolutely, it's always going forwards. I think this is something that I think is one of the best parts of the job, is that you're never standing still. You're never you're never complacent. You're always looking for the next thing, and as seasons roll by, you're getting new ingredients through the door. So you're always tasting new things and putting new combinations together.
So you can get better with age then.
The more you learn. Don't you think that's true, Roy?
Alan, thank you very much indeed.
Nice to see you.
William Curley, here we are in this fantastic shop you have here, heart of Pimlico. Couldn't have a much better position really in London. Very special. Do you consider yourself a patissier or a chocolatier? How did it come about?
Well, I consider myself both, and I guess first and foremost I'm a patissier, and I trained for many years with some fabulous chefs in hotels and in restaurants in both the UK, London in particular, and the continent. And that was really about being a patissier, and of course chocolate's very much part. It runs through the trade of a patissier. Sure. Since we opened the business in 2004, there's been such an explosion in chocolate within the UK, and that's really drove the business forward.
Well, people know much more about chocolate now, don't they?
Yeah, there's an education thing going on there. We, have more companies, small producers that are creating some fabulous chocolates for us chefs to work with. There's more education in the media, there's more knowledge, there's more on television, so it's fabulous. It's a growing market.
Well, this is a very special place because I sort of think of this as almost like coming into a jeweller's, because you've got such wonderful things on display and such lovely, delicate looking things.
Yeah, but obviously that's probably what we're trying to create. We're trying to create, when you walk in the door here, you're coming into our little world. It's take time out. It could be just for a few minutes to buy something. You could sit down and have a hot chocolate and a little petit gâteau to eat. And it really just leave everything outside and come in here and just be part of our little world.
That's tremendous. Now, do you do demonstrations here as well?
We do down the stairs. We have truffle making and sea salt caramel making courses, and even some patisserie making courses now.
Really? And how often do those come about?
They run most weekends.
Tell me a bit about the range of things you have here, because it's quite extensive.
Yes, and it's grown over the years since we've been established. I mean, obviously the fresh patisserie that's in front of us was probably the main reason actually to start the business in 2004. But since then, it's grown in lots of different ways. We do larger versions, entremets as well. We do the couture chocolates, which are all pure, natural, no additives, no preservatives. Then we do truffles. We also have what are called bouchées, which include things such as our Jaffa cake, tea cakes, millionaire shortbread, like my grandmother used to make. Then we have nibbles, which can be rocher suisse, caramelised hazelnuts and Kanako powder. What else do we do? Well, roasted walnuts and chocolate. You know, the list goes on and on and on. I'm sometimes always weary from my poor young chefs how many things I add to it. So we do try to manoeuvre things around.
Sure. Would you recommend someone to go into this business?
Gosh, it's the best job in the world.
Yeah?
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, who doesn't want to work with chocolate, patisserie, cakes? You know, it's a dream.
These look fantastic, William. Just explain what we have here.
Thank you. So we have a chocolate pyramid. It's a dark chocolate mousse. We use Amade chocolate, which we think is the best in the world. It's scented with caramelised mandarins, crispy biscuits, and a jasmine creme brulee. So we have a raspberry macaroon, and it's scented with a raspberry ganache and a pistachio creme mousseline.
Tell me about ganache.
Well, the word ganache is fabulous history. It's one of the old great French stories from the kitchen. If you go back to the early 1900s, the story goes you had the head chef with a bowl of chocolate, you had the young chef with a bowl of cream. The young chef bumped into the head chef. The cream went on the chocolate, and he called him a ganache. He called him a fool, an idiot. Of course, he then mixed it together, and he found out that they emulsified marvellously well together, smooth, elegant, creamy, and no longer was he a fool, but the name stuck.
Fantastic. And this one here?
Okay, it's a chocolate cadeau. Again, we make a mousse. We make it in a different type of way. We make a creme anglaise type mousse, and then we have a vanilla cream inside, and we have marinated sultanas in rum.
William, it's a wonderful shop. It's been well established over how many years now?
This shop's been open for 3 years. Our shop in Richmond's been open since 2004.
Fantastic. I wish you continued success.
Thank you very much.
Rupert, the Beer Academy, teaches people a lot of things about beer. Teach me a little bit about it. What have we got here?
The thought is that if you're actually drinking a pint of beer and you like the pint of beer, it's quite nice to know what goes inside it, what's made the flavour. If you don't like a pint of beer, equally, you actually want to know why you don't like it so you can avoid it next time round. So what we're trying to do with the Beer Academy is to show them the individual flavour profiles of hops and how different kilnings, different roastings of barley can affect flavour. So if you go for this one, this is English fuggle hop, which is quite an earthy creature, sometimes quite a bit licoricey, a bit of sort of maybe a bit of lime on it as well. And it's quite low in power, so the hops go in power from about 3.5% to about 20% power. So this is quite delicate, quite noble, quite a soft creature. So in England we quite often blend this, one of our oldest hops, with a Golding. Golding is more like Chablis, so Golding is like your little bits of orange and lemon on the top of this, a bit of earthiness. So that's why a lot of the beers you'll taste in Britain. When you nosed this a moment ago, you said, oh, very English beer. Well, it is very English beer. That's exactly what we're meant to be doing. Where this, in America, they have more in-your-face hops, so more of their hops taste like Sauvignon Blanc in terms of the aggression, the cat's pee on a gooseberry bush, you know, the gooseberry. So if you nose this, which is Cascade, it's wonderfully fresh, but it's far more like Sauvignon Blanc by itself. And it just shows you, in a way, at the moment, why our beers are quite often different from their beers. We're trying to be floral, understated, more like our character. They're trying to be overstated, brash, and in your face, like their character. And bit by bit, we'll probably merge together as our two nations get on better.
What about these?
This just shows you the barley aspect of it all. So all the alcohol in your beer comes from the cereals. You can use rye, you can use oats, you can use rice, you can use wheat, you can use barley. And so these are just different kilnings of barley. So once you've chosen which cereal you're going to use to give you the fermentable sugars to make your beer, to make the bubbles, to make the alcohol, you then have to say, what flavour do I want? So if you kiln your barley a very small amount, cook it a very small amount, it comes this sort of colour. It tastes like brioche, it tastes like Horlicks. You then cook it a bit more if you want to, with a bit more water in it, and it tastes more like a toffee mixed with sort of Ovaltine. And then if you cook it a bit more, it comes up here like chocolate. And then you get one more on from that, it's like coffee. So What I was trying to say earlier on, a brewer has to be like an artist. He's got to work out what water he's going to use, soft water or hard water. In Britain we have various places which have very hard water, others very soft. If you look at all the breweries of the world, they're normally on the water source was their main thing they had to have. Then you have to look at your barley. Most of your beer will be based on that, because that's in a way your background, it's your honey, it's your Horlicks flavour. On top of which you've got to decide how much of these other colours you want to have as well. And once you've done that, you've got to say, right, what hops do I want to have? What hops do I want to have underpinning the beer right at the early part of the bubbling process, the boiling process? And which one do I want to have even very late on, even when it's cooling down again? You might want to just throw a handful on, like you would a bit of tarragon on your tarragon chicken, to actually give that final burst of exuberant, fresh, zinging flavour. Exactly the same is true of the brewer. Then when you come on to your yeast, as in wine, yeast, when you get higher in alcohol, 5, 6, 7%, starts to go a bit plummy, sometimes they go a bit banana-y. So all these other sultanery flavours start to come in, the higher in alcohol you get, and call it the yeast you use. So all I'm trying to say is this beer is an immensely complex creature. We should be so proud of it, rather than just thinking that all beers are born equal. They are not.
Winners of the Katie Independent Restaurant Award in 2012, Stephen Terry and his team believe in producing maximum flavour for minimum fuss.
People love what we've done with the place. They ask, well, who's the interior designer? So, well, you're looking at him. You know, we've got 8 rooms out there, beautiful 5-star rooms from Visit Wales, very comfortable, and it's going okay. And obviously we've done a bit of marketing. We don't really advertise, and we've been fortunate to, the profile of the Hardwick and Stephen Terry has been raised through the media, through Great British Menu, mostly. My style of food is all about, you know, maximum flavour, minimum fuss. You know, my inspiration comes from the ingredients that are put before me, and that obviously is throughout the seasons. So it's very seasonal cooking, and we're the only bib gourmand in Wales. And, you know, I think we're not far away from a star, not that that's the be all and end all. The first dish we're going to do is it's a favourite of the Hardwick, which is it's a bit of a Hardwick surf and turf. So it's roast sea scallops, and we only use the best sort of hand-dyed sea scallops. And that's served with pork belly, which we slow cook the pork belly throughout the evening, throughout the night. Then it's broken down and it's reconstructed without all the stuff you don't want in it, all the sinew and the bone and whatever. We reserve all that lovely fat that's underneath the skin. And then as we build the layers back up with the mussels, we put very thinly sliced black pudding through it. So it looks like a bit like a licorice sauce. We set it in a block, and then we portion it, and then we breadcrumb it, set the breadcrumbs, just colour them in a fry, and then put it through the oven. That's sliced into 3. So you've got, you know, 3 bits of pork belly, 3 lovely pieces of roast sea scallop, and we serve that with a shredded braised fennel and salad in the middle. And on the pork belly, we have an apple and mustard puree sauce, and on the scallops, it's like you know, it's like a brown chicken stock, capers, shallots, parsley, a little bit of salsa verde, just blitzed and just napped over it. So that's a real winner. You know, it's a very sort of stimulated across the taste buds, very makes you salivate. It's a very delicious dish to eat. Main course is actually for 2, but it's what we call a taste of beef. And basically it comes on a board, and it is exactly what it says. You get a beautiful piece of braised shin and red wine sauce. You get a little burger and some toasted sourdough with some diced mushrooms and a little sort of tarragon cream sauce, onion rings on the top. And then you have some confit shallots, some sauce bordelaise, a piece of fillet roasted or cooked to your liking, just grilled to your liking. And we also have a suet pudding, which is oxtail. So, you know, it's a beautiful taste of beef for 2 people, and you get sort of some seasonal greens with that as well. And triple cooked chips or some new potatoes or mash, whatever you fancy. And the dessert we're going to do is a chocolate loveliness, which involves a beautiful rocher of Amadei chocolate mousse, which is a fantastic recipe. It just uses pasteurised egg whites and egg yolks, so you don't need to. There's no cooking involved. Melted Amadei chocolate. We use number 9 and the Tuscana brown, so it's a blend of the 2, 50-50. Gets a nice texture. Beautiful millionaires. We call it billionaire shortbread because it's Amadei chocolate. Lovely caramel on a salted shortbread base, and we have a little gruyere twirl with that, and then we do like a peanut butter parfait that we serve on top of a chocolate brownie that's got jam on it as well. So it's a peanut butter and jelly thing, which I really like, and you get salted, it's like a peanut brittle little twirl on top of that, and it sits on a little salted caramel sauce. So again, you know, it just tickles all the senses, and it's just a real nice, you know, in terms of the temperature. There's nothing hot, but the sauce is warm, the parfait's cold, the rocher is just, you know, beautiful. You know, we take our work very seriously, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. I like things a bit of play on words, you know, just things. We've got a dish that uses a local, it's a black lamb, so we call it Bar Black Sheep, and it's with taste of lamb. We've done a venison dish called Oh Dear, you know, or we've done a kid goat, and that was just called Just Kidding Around. I like to cook the food I like to eat. And I like good grub, but, you know, good quality, great, you know, sourced ingredients, and, you know, good provenance. But, you know, in terms of, like, you know, your pork, your beef, your lamb, your chicken, your goat, your venison, on the doorstep, everything on the doorstep. Fantastic fruit and veg. Not everything, but, you know, we still get some lovely produce from Italy, you know, lovely tomatoes. But we've got a wonderful supplier, Veggies Galore, based up in Rossum Way. Amanda, and she just grows the most amazing stuff, you know, it's incredible. And she comes every Friday, and we get beautiful produce off of her, so lovely heritage tomatoes, etc. And lovely long yellow and purple stick beans, and yeah, amazing lettuces. We've got beautiful Welsh lobsters, Welsh spider crab, coming from the coast, Welsh mussels, and then all sort of, you know, sea bass from the Gower, and then the rest of it's sort of coming from sort of Devon and Cornwall. And also on the wet sales, you know, we've got great beers, great perries, great ciders, great wine from Anchor Hill Vineyards in Monmouth. Yeah, absolutely, really good. Good sparkling wine. No, really spoiled, really spoiled.
Ryan, you're going to cook us something you say is quite simple, but other people might find it a little more difficult. Tell me a bit about it.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to do a roast chicken, but you're absolutely right. So roast chicken is not easy to do anyway, but it's simple in that they're not complicated steps, and that's how I think we should look at cookery these days, that we should make sure they're not complicated steps, unless of course that's what you're trying to do. But for most of us, we want it to smell nice, look nice, but really want it to taste nice. Sure. So we've got some tomatoes and spring onions here, and a wee bit of garlic. I don't know about you, but garlic always tells me I'm in the kitchen.
Love the smell, love it.
So, the name's Turner, as you know, so it means that we have to have butter in it. So butter goes in here, and we just put that to gently warm through. We chopped up the spring onions, just wipe my hands here, and I've just got some garlic in there. Now the great thing about garlic for me these days, because my mum sadly passed away as a young lady, she never actually experienced garlic, you know. We never had garlic in this country, proper, using it as an ingredient until after the last World War. So butter's in the pan, just melted, spring onions, and the nice thing is, although there's a recipe for this, there isn't really a recipe. You put odds and sods, whatever you want in there. And the thing is, it's just to let it soften up, just let those flavours, the spring onions and the garlic just come. And it is a thing to remember when you are cooking with garlic, that it does go very bitter when it's burnt. Yeah. But I'm going to take the seeds out, because I don't really want everything to get too runny when I put it into the chicken and liquid. But for whatever you do, don't throw those away either. Just stick them in the freezer, stick them in the fridge, and next time you're making a sauce, bung them in there, and it's good for practicing your knife too. So now all you do is you just chop up your tomato concasse. As I say, you can leave it in petals if you like, or just whisk it into a dice there. Same size as our spring onions. Yeah. So it all becomes as one, and that will become the stuffing then for our chicken. You need to do this first because you need to let it go cold. So we'll put it into the fridge. I just really like. It makes me remember that I'm a chef again when I've just got a knife in my hand and just rocking on there and rabbiting away to somebody. Okay, so all I'm going to do quickly now is put that into the butter. Yeah. Then we finish. But once again, just soften it up a little bit. Don't lose any flavours, you know. I'm just going to put some Maldon sea salt in there, just a little bit.
Just a sprinkle? Not
too much, because I'm going to put some on the outside as well of the chicken.
Right.
Just put into a stainless steel bowl and stick that in the fridge. Right, lovely chicken. Our chickens in this country are getting better. Yes. But the trick is to pay as much as you can afford for a really good chicken. It's a lovely size, great shape. We'll feed 4, but I'm just going to do this for 2. Okay. This is the only dodgy bit. So I need people to be a bit careful here, but we'll just pull those legs like that. It can't feel a thing, so we're okay. And then just release the skin. And this is what we're going to do, is to produce a crown of chicken. So we're going to take the legs off, but in one piece. If you don't want to do it in one piece, don't worry about it, but it's nicer to just take it off in one piece like that. And then give it a good thwack, mind your fingers, and then we're through, okay? And I'm going to just take out the wishbone because it's easier to carve afterward. And if you're a brain surgeon, then you'll know exactly what I'm doing here. If you're not, pay attention. So all we're going to do now is just quickly release that bone that's in there.
Okay.
And so that when we carve it, we don't have to worry about it because it's already out. So the idea is to scrape it, so see, very carefully. But the nice thing about this is that nobody actually sees. So if you cut into the meat, no one will actually notice, except you. And as you do it, more often you do it, the easier it gets.
Sure.
Once we've released it there, so you now see the bone, the wishbone there, just run your finger and thumb up there. Try not to break it, but whatever you do, don't panic if you break it. It comes out like that, okay? So the first thing I do, I'm going to take these off here, the wingtips, because they sort of get in the way. Where we've released, we've taken the bone out, now just release the skin from the flesh and just try and get a little pouch in there. That's looking good in there, nice and released. And each time just bring it back to the shape of the chicken. And all we do now is you just treat it like a little envelope.
Okay.
And then
so don't overload it when you
don't overload it, and then just quickly just go back to this shape of the chicken. Just respect the shape of the chicken. We'll stick a bit of oil in there.
Makes sense.
Then what we're going to do is quickly take some more of our Maldon sea salt flakes. Have we got plenty there? And these are cumin seeds. Smell lovely. I think the beauty of this dish is it doesn't have to be spring onions and tomatoes. It could be a bit of pepper, it could be a bit of sweet corn, parsley, garlic, whatever you like. And the same here, whatever spices you've got. We won't put it all on here, we'll keep a little for presentation. So we'll just sprinkle a little bit. 180 degrees, about 30 minutes. It's a little long time. I want it to rest for 10 or 15 minutes afterwards. I want moist chicken. You can always cook it a little bit more if it's underdone. You can't undercook it if it's overcooked.
So this resting, which we hear about with beef and lamb, but it's the same with chicken.
It's the same with all meat. 30 minutes later, I take a spoonful of this, just baste it. You take that now and put it into that bowl just to keep it warm. I'm going to turn it over a couple of times, but just let it sit there, nice and warm, and to get the moisture to go through it. Okay. Now, we need a drop of white wine in here. Now, we're going to make gravy, not sauce.
Okay.
We are in England. It is roast chicken. Please take the pan away from the heat. And all you can do is rinse round to get all our flavours together. And then I've got some chicken stock here. Make it with your bones, or otherwise you can use a good packet stuff. You don't need too much. You see how it's taken on the colour of the chicken, the bits in the bottom there, so it's darkened already in colour. It's starting to reduce, so we're going to get a good flavour. I'm a great fan of fresh parsley. And just cut it the last minute to get that freshness. And I've kept a little bit of the tomato and the spring onion that I didn't put into the chicken. So, we're going to finish the sauce. Have a quick taste. You know, it's moments like this when I realise just how good I am. That is going to be fantastic. Do that. I'm going to take some of this tomato, not too much. See, can you see it's thickening up there? I'm going to put the parsley in. Look at that, looks delicious, that entire. Remember the first thing I did was I put some butter in there. So I'm going to put some more butter in there. A real meat spoiler, that just sits over the top there. Go a little bit more. And there you have it, our roast chicken with spring onion and tomatoes.
Very nice too. Brian, thank you very much indeed.
dinner.